Hello, everyone, and welcome to my presentation, or I should say lecture, a small lecture on Chinese character phonetic series and character etymology. And this will be the first video, hopefully in a longer series of videos dedicated to Chinese character phonetic series and etymology of Chinese characters, where I will try to explain first in this introductory lecture what it actually is, a phonetic series, and try to go in depth with individual characters and try to explain their etymology. So some of you might know already who've been watching these videos, and maybe from other places as well, that 80% of Chinese characters, and that is a huge number if you think about it, that's basically every 4 out of 5, 80% of Chinese characters are so-called phono-semantic compounds. And that means that one part of the character is going to give the character its sound, and another part is going to give it its meaning, or sort of point to its meaning. And there is a way of basically sorting out these characters according to their leading phonetic element. And this might all sound very foreign to you right now, but as soon as I start explaining to you the characters that you see on this screen right now, it will all become very simple. A leading phonetic element, and in this particular case, it's this huge character here on the right side, is the element that is giving the sound to a series of characters, and it is present in them. So if you look at these characters over here that you can see basically on the left side, you can see this title phonetic character, and basically, well, clearly you can see it in these two characters, and then less clearly in the remaining ones, and I will get to that later. So all of these characters are in the same phonetic series and are led by this character over here. And what that means and how it influences the characters and how it can become much easier for you to understand them and to learn them, I'm going to explain to you in just a second. So basically, what we have to do first is start looking at this title character over here, which is pronounced cai. Cai in the second tone. And cai today means talent or material. It is also sort of like a grammar particle, which means only then. And it's actually for a beginner student of Chinese, it's a pretty difficult concept to get around. And if you are a beginner of Chinese, or maybe just start to get interested into Chinese characters, and you look at these 1, 2, 3 strokes, there's nothing that would tell you that this character means talent or material. And the reason for that is that this character didn't mean material or talent when it was created. It used to mean a sprouting plant. And so if you look at this character, still, you don't really see a sprouting plant in it, but if you look at this one over here, and this character, this is the earliest version of it. It's the version of this character written in the Oracle Bone script. The Oracle Bone script is a script which was found on fortune-telling bones. Actually, not really fortune-telling. There's a special word for it. I think it's called moxibustion. And the outcome of the fortune-telling and the sort of like the process was then engraved on the bone using this type of a script, which is called Oracle Bone script. And if you look at it, you sort of can see the sprouting plant. Basically, this is the ground over here, and these maybe are the roots, and then this is the sprouting plant. And I'm not really sure how it happened, probably by meaning extension. The meaning of a sprouting plant transferred to material and talent, maybe splendid and things like that. And that's what the character means now. This version of the character that you can see over here is the seal script version of the character. And it is, I will tell you in a second why I chose these two versions in addition to the modern one. In the seal script, you can see that the Oracle Bone script has been modified and standardized and sort of simplified to match the seal script formatting. And the seal script is a very, very important step in understanding sort of modern Chinese character etymology. I smiled because modern still means about 2,000 years old. And the seal script is a perfectly functional writing system, and is really what the regular script is based on, and will help you tremendously in understanding Chinese character etymology. All of these characters that you can see in this sort of dark green color are, and this one as well, are the seal script versions of the characters that you can see on the right side, to sort of visually compare and to help you understand the etymology of the character. So as I said, this character is pronounced Cai. It's composed only of 3 strokes, and there is nothing in the character pointing to the meaning or the sound. The character itself is a leading phonetic character. And it will be very obvious to you as soon as I start explaining to you the following characters, the characters that are in the same or in the phonetic group that Cai is leading. So the first character, as you can see, it has the Cai element in it. And this character is also pronounced Cai, exactly the same way as the title phonetic character, the same initial consonant, the same final, and the same tone. And it means sort of like wealth or money or something like that. And so the phonetic element is clearly Cai. And the semantic element, let me choose a different color for that. Let me choose a magenta. The semantic element is this here, which is pronounced bei. And bei is, the original meaning was like a shell, a seashell, but seashells were used in ancient times as a form of currency. So this is clearly the semantic element pointing to the meaning wealth or money or something along those lines. And so the whole character means wealth, as I said, and with Cai giving it its sound and bei giving it its, like pointing to its meaning. So this is like wealth, wealth, wealth. Beneath it you have another character in the same series, pronounced, again, Cai, Cai. And this character, the meaning of this character is material. And the semantic element over here is mu, and it's wood. Sort of mu as a standalone character means tree, as in tree in a forest. But when you can find it in as a sort of like a semantic element in characters, it usually points to the meaning of something that has to do something with wood, roughly. Most of these semantic elements only point to the general meaning. It rarely happens that, not rarely, but it's not so, doesn't happen so often that you'd have a semantic element that would exactly point to the meaning of the character. So this would be material. Material. I'm sorry for my handwriting. And now we go into a pretty interesting situation here, because this is a very, very frequent character, and I'm sure a lot of you recognize it. It's pronounced zai. Zai. And I guess you can see the pattern here, right? So again, zai, zai, zai. We have, the pronunciation is very, very similar, right? In this case, the tone is different. Here, the first 2 characters were pronounced in the second tone, cai, and this is zai, so second tone versus fourth tone. And the initial consonant in the first 2 characters was t, so cai, cai, and this is z, zai. But if you look at the character, you don't see this huge phonetic element in it nowhere if you look at it, at the regular version. But if you look at the seal script version of the character, you can clearly see this element over here on the left side. And it's the same way of, let me change the color, of writing the title phonetic element, cai, in the seal script. So in the script that I told you that is very important in understanding the sort of character etymology. And if you look at the preceding characters written in the seal script, this one and this one, change the color, you can see again that there is this element here, and there is this element here, and there's this element here. It didn't change. in the seal script. It changed. It did, however, change in the transition into the regular script, and this is how the element looks today. It's been changed. It still contains only 3 strokes, but it has changed. And the semantic element in this case is this section over here, or this element over here, which is pronounced tu, and it's soil or earth. And 在, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you what it means. 在 is generally, I think it could be translated as to be located at, or to be somewhere. It is also like a grammar particle which indicates the continuous state of an action. But the original meaning was to be somewhere, and tu, this semantic element, points to the meaning location, to be located at. So I don't know how I should actually write it. Let's say to be somewhere, to be somewhere. All right, and now we continue to even more obscure characters in this series. So if you look at this character over here, at this one, I think you would have a pretty hard time looking for this cai element in it, but it is there. The problem is that there is one intermediate step or intermediary step that I didn't write. It should be over here. And the reason why I didn't write it is that I just could not input it on my Windows keyboard, because it just does not exist in the in the database. And the character looks like sort of like this. And it is pronounced, if I remember correctly, it is pronounced zai in the second tone. So you can see the pattern. You can still see. You can clearly see the pattern, and it means to cut something. And it means to cut something because this plus sign over here, if we can call it a plus sign, is a reduced cai, and the remaining part, which is this, is pronounced ge, and it is a lance. It's like a type of a weapon, a sharp sword or something like that. So zai is giving it the sound, and ge is giving it the meaning, and the whole thing together means to cut something. And now, and maybe I shouldn't have written it so close to this character because I will have no room. Let me just write that a bit further away from that. And this character, even if you look, you still might not. So let me write it again. Zai, to cut. Even if you look at it, you still might not see the cai title phonetic in it, but it's there. And you again have to go and look at the seal script, and you can see it over here. These 2 strokes and the vertical one. True, they are not. The bottom stroke of the 2 horizontal strokes is not tilted, as in this case, right? It's not tilted. It's perfectly horizontal, but it still is the semantic element, a cai. And the character is pronounced zai. So tone is the same. The final is the same. The initial is different, right? And here we have z, and in here we have t, right? Oh, well, t you can really pronounce t in the second tone, but you know what I mean. And so now we take this entire character and we combine it with another character. So let me just take the yellow color and color out the phonetic element. So in this character, this whole thing is going to act as the phonetic element. And the semantic element is going to be this remaining part, which is pronounced ch, and it's a car. And the character, the meaning of this character is to, if you say, for instance, 我载你去, it means I will take you somewhere, I will give you a ride. So to basically to drive someone or something somewhere by some sort of a car is this character, and it is pronounced 载. So to give a ride. right? And by the way, all of these characters are super frequent. Usually you can either find them as verbs or morphemes in nouns, but they are very, very frequent characters, so you can find them all over the place. And again, you can clearly see the pattern. So the title phonetic element is tai, and then wealth is tai, material is tai, to be somewhere is zai, and to give someone a ride is zai. So again, the phonetic element is clearly giving all of these characters its sound. In the first two characters, it's very evident because you can see it. It's in the very regular position. Usually the phonetic elements are on the right side and they are in their full form. So full form here, full form here. In this character, to be somewhere, it's sort of corrupted on the on the top left side, and it's sort of like it's not where it's supposed to be, and it's completely hidden in this zai character. And we're moving on to the next character, which is pronounced tai. Tai, and it means to cut something. To cut something, and again, the phonetic element is this entire character over here, and the semantic element is this inside, which is pronounced e, and it's cloth, material, clothes, something like that, the clothes that you put on. So this zai, this character over here, as you can see, points to the sound, gives the character its sound, pronounced as tai, and the inside of it, or I should say this element in it, e, is giving it its meaning, which is to cut. And the last character in this series is pronounced dai. Dai in the fourth tone, and it means to wear something or to put on something. To wear, like clothes, to wear, to put on. Excuse my terrible handwriting, I'm doing my best. My handwriting is actually terrible if I write on a regular piece of paper, but on this tablet it's even more terrible. And in this character, again, zai, to cut something, this one, is giving it its sound. And the inside, which is pronounced e. Let me try to... It's probably going to be a little bit messy, but I think you're going to guess what I'm trying to color out, is pronounced e, and it means different. And so the logic behind this is that if you put on clothes, you're different, right? And again, let me just delete this for a second. If you look at the, maybe even the zai coloring, if you look at this section over here as it is, you don't really, you can't really tell. I mean, if someone would tell you, okay, this means different and it's pronounced E, and you would say, all right, so how do I know that it should mean E just by looking at it? I mean, it doesn't really make sense. But if you look at this version over here, and this is the seal script version of it, this makes more sense because you clearly can see two hands with a sort of like a, this clearly is two hands and then 2 feet, and this is a mask. So it's a person putting on a mask. So he's becoming different, right? And it's very, very, very evident from this seal script version of the character. I'm pretty sure that if we were to see the Oracle Bone script, so that is this version over here, even the older one, we would perfectly be able to see two hands and a mask or something that resembles a mask and a person putting it on. So just to finish it off, zai, this section, is giving the character its sound, and the inside E is giving it its meaning. Okay, so this hopefully gave you some insight into how these phono-semantic compounds work in general. This lecture, or sort of like micro lecture, was a bit longer than the following videos will be. They will be much shorter because I just simply had to explain the system behind these compounds. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you found this useful as well. Again, all of these characters that you can see here are very, very frequent, and I chose them based on my frequency study of interviews that I found in newspapers. So these are characters that are frequent in the spoken language. So if you want to learn characters that are useful in online chatting or just informal conversation, if you should ever write something down, or if you're reading books that have a lot of dialogues, these characters are going to be in them, and the most frequent characters are the ones that you can basically see now. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I will try to make more videos of this sort because I think that they have helped me tremendously to understand the system behind Chinese characters. They have helped me in reading and understanding characters that I don't know, because now every time I look and I see a character that I have never seen before in my life, I sort of, can start to guess its pronunciation, and quite possibly I know how to say it. I just don't know that this character is actually represents that word, because no one ever told me, or I never learned that this or that particular character is what I already know how to say. And if I see it in context, chances are that I am going to recognize it just based on the fact that I know how this system behind these phono-semantic compounds works. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I will see you in the next one.